Hi guys! Today we're going to do a music history lesson about Beethoven. I'm going to read to you a story about Beethoven, and then we're going to hear some pieces that were composed by Beethoven. Ludwig van Beethoven, German composer who was the dominant musical figure of the 19th century, particularly known for his 9 symphonies. Music, not cooking, good manners, or fashion, was Ludwig van Beethoven's whole life. His father began giving him piano lessons before he was 4 years old. Young Beethoven was so small he had to stand on the piano bench in order to reach the keys. His father hit him whenever he made a mistake. Neighbors remember him as a tiny boy crying in front of the piano. When he was a little older, his father woke him at midnight to show him off to friends he brought home from bars. By the time he was 12, Beethoven was an organist at court. He was already publishing music and earning a salary that kept his family going when his father could no longer take care of them. At age 16, he caught Mozart's attention. "Keep your eyes on him," the older composer is said to have urged. "Someday he will give the world something to talk about." Beethoven had a difficult childhood, but he could be playful. One day he bet a church singer he could throw him off stride by playing variations as he accompanied the singer on the organ during the service. The singer accepted the challenge, but Beethoven won the bet. The singer did get distracted, and Beethoven did get in trouble. Eventually, he became known as the greatest pianist of his time. Pianist means piano player. He could play so beautifully that his listeners would cry. And when they did, he would burst out laughing. "You are fools," he would say. If people talked while he played, he would stomp off in a huff. If he didn't like the looks of the audience, he wouldn't perform at all. His talent and powerful personality attracted many friends, but his moodiness could make it hard to stay friends with him. He insulted everyone. For an overweight violinist, he wrote a song called "Praise to the Fat One." That is not nice. On his brother's business card, which read Johann von Beethoven, landowner, Beethoven scrawled Ludwig von Beethoven, brain owner. It's also not nice. Once he became angry with a prince who was important to his financial health, telling him, "There are and there will be thousands of princes. There is only one Beethoven." Now we're going to hear a piece by Beethoven. That was beautiful. A policeman arrested Beethoven one day for acting suspiciously. By this time, the composer was very famous, and the policeman refused to believe that the great Beethoven could look as he did. The hairstyle of the day was careful pigtails, but Beethoven let his thick hair grow long and wild. He also couldn't be bothered with clean or stylish clothes. When his clothes became too dirty and disgusting, his friends took them away in the night and brought new ones, and Beethoven never noticed the difference. One of his favorite foods was mac and cheese. and strong coffee that he made himself, exactly 60 beans to the cup. He was notorious for his bad cooking and for his behavior in restaurants. Once he got so mad at a waiter that he stood up and dumped his plate of food over the man's head and laughed. He had a loud laugh and a loud, annoying voice. And he liked to spit. Sometimes he left restaurants without paying, and sometimes he wrote music on the bill. In the afternoon, he'd go to a coffee house to gossip and read the newspapers. Sometimes he worked all night by moonlight, going without food or sleep. To stay awake, he would dump pitchers of water over his head, and then he wouldn't clean it up. So it annoyed his downstairs neighbors when the water flooded the floor and leaked through their ceiling. When a group of boys peeked in his ground floor window one time, they caught him working in his underpants. His room was even more shocking. Dirty laundry, half-eaten food, rusty pens, scribbled paper everywhere. Hey, that sounds like my car. There was even a full chamber pot under the piano. A chamber pot is what people used to go in the bathroom in before we had bathrooms inside. His landlord didn't like him and he had to move once or twice a year. The saddest thing about Beethoven's life was his gradual deafness, beginning in his late 20s. Deafness means you can't hear. So slowly and slowly, Beethoven lost his hearing. As a child, he had been too young to play the compositions he wrote. As his hearing grew worse and worse, he lived inside his head more than ever and kept on writing music. He broke strings on the piano, trying to pound loud enough so he could hear his notes. Beethoven conducting an orchestra was a sight to see. He would leap into the air during the loud parts. Then he would crouch low during the quiet parts. Audiences loved his music. In his last public performance, he began to cry when someone turned him around to show him the roaring applause he couldn't hear. He died of liver failure at age 57. The legend is that he roused himself from his bed at the end of a violent thunderstorm and shook his fist at the sky, defiant as ever. Possibly the most famous notes of all time are the first 4 notes of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. Dun 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 dun, dun 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 dun. Maybe you've heard that. Or Ode to Joy. Dun 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 dun. And also For Elise. Now we're going to hear a lesser known piece from Beethoven. Which piece did you like better? The slower, prettier one in the beginning, or this bouncy, lively piece? You can email me and let me know. Okay, bye guys. Have a great day.